We are so back. Hello, folks, and welcome to another video on the Farzy Plays Chess channel. I haven't uploaded in over a year now, so my rating's a little different from what it used to be if you're a returning viewer. But essentially, the plan for this video and this series is to play rapid chess on a daily basis or as much as I can and push for a rating of 2000 ELO. But since I'm already so close to 2000, I'm currently at 1964. I am not going to stop at 2000. The plan is to just keep playing rapid chess. Hopefully, it's instructive. Hopefully, I'm able to share my thought process and help you improve your chess if you are lower rated. And hopefully, it's entertaining for those of you who may be around the same rating or higher rated. So, without further ado, we're just going to get started and I'm going to hop into a game. We're playing 10-minute rapid games, and we have an opponent without a flag. Interesting. But we're playing with the black pieces here. So d4 played by my opponent, d5. I hate this line. I hate this Levitsky attack, whatever it's called. The bishop going on g5 because it really hampers development. But I'm going to play somewhat normally. I'm going to put a knight on f6. I'm going to play e6, bishop e7. And this is kind of the plan for my development. Maybe I'll start with c5 so that putting a knight on c6 doesn't hamper the development of my pawn. And let's just put a bishop on e7. I'm going to play real solid. This is rapid chess, but there is no increment. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to try my best to play with a relative pace here. I don't know if I want to commit to castling on the king side. I'm not 100% sure. Let's play knight c6. It's the move I want to play. I'm going to try, I wanted to try playing for e5. It's no longer possible. So instead, maybe what I can do is put a knight on e4. That would currently hang a pawn. There are two defenders of that square. But I want to try to get some sort of opening of this position. So maybe I'll just retreat the knight to d7, and we'll see what this bishop decides to do, whether it falls back or not. I just want to relieve some of this tension. So we get the trade of bishops. I can take back with the knight, but I'm choosing to take back with the queen here, keeping an eye on this pawn. And now my opponent is getting a little ambitious here. I could castle, but I feel like that could be potentially dangerous. What I'd rather do is protect the pawn some other way. So maybe with the rook, maybe I can push my f pawn, which I think I'm actually going to do. Because I can play f6 and then maybe e5. There's ideas with the queen currently on g4 to use this bishop. Although if I play f6, there's a check, so maybe that's actually not something to consider seriously here. And if I castle, I'm walking into slight issues. I don't see any direct problems from castling. Not immediately. Let's castle. I said I wouldn't castle, but I'm going to castle. I don't know if this is the correct approach, but I feel like it's a solid move here. I would love to play like e5 knight takes. I think that's actually possible in this position. So, for example, let's say I play e5. Is that possible? No, the problem is that after knight takes, there might be queen f5. Then I take the bishop. Let's try it. Let's try it. So I'm noticing that this queen is in the line of sight of my bishop. Here the issue is, okay, I didn't consider what if queen f5 right away. But now I think that I can play knight takes on e5, and this is a little tactic. Maybe I'm missing something here. I really hope I'm not. But it's a little tactic. Notice that my queen is defended. All my pieces in this position are defended. The only thing that's not defended, my opponent resigned. Why didn't my opponent resign? Oh, I'm winning the bishop. I didn't even notice I'm winning the bishop. I thought the queen can go here, but I forgot my bishop's covering that square. Okay, very, very fast ending to this first rapid game. But I think you immediately see, like, the way I'm playing chess is differently from how I used to play before. I think I'm much more aware and keen of tactics and the positional awareness that's needed to grow at a higher level. And with this win, we are now at 1975 ELO on chess.com. So 2000 is right around the corner. Let's take a look at the analysis and see how this opening in this game went. Okay, well, we had a bit of a miniature in this one. It started with d4, and I was saying how I really don't like this bishop g5 move. It really bothers me, especially in blitz games and bullet games, because it's so, like, not akin to the positions I usually play with white, so I don't really know the ideas here very well. Probably something for me to study more down the line. Apparently, the best move, according to the analysis, is to play c5 right away. And I guess the point is that if they take, well, usually here you have like queen a5, win the pawn back right away, but the engine likes h6, kicking the bishop out, and if the bishop goes to h4, you can probably just play g5 and then take the center. So you can take the center, oh, actually not right away, but bishop g7, then take the center, and this pawn is not what's important because if you have firm control of the center, you're going to have a lot of the momentum early on. It's one of the fundamental principles of playing an opening in chess. Now, this is not what I did. I decided to just go h6 right away. Just, this bishop bothered me. I was like, okay, get it out of here. Bishop h4, and I could have technically played g5. I feel like, overextending early with your pawns can be a little bit of a weakness in the long run, especially if you're doing it at the kind of compromise of not bringing out your pieces. Here it comes with a tempo, so it's not like really you're slowing down the development of your pieces, but I figured I'd rather just focus on getting my pieces into the game and kind of arranging my setup, my structure. E6 here played so that I can play bishop e7. I just want to break out of this pin, which I really find annoying. That's why I really don't like bishop g5. My opponent develops their light square bishop to d3. I decide to go c5 here, just grabbing some space, putting some pressure on the d4 square, and allowing my knight to step onto c6. A lot of times people put their knight on c6 early, and what that does is it stops the c pawn from ever pushing, and sometimes that hampers the development of your queen and your other pieces. So I like playing c5 when I'm able to. It's also an idea that's fairly common in d4 setups, like in the Queen's Gambit, for example. The way I play the Queen's Gambit is usually by playing c5 fairly early on. So it's an idea I'm somewhat familiar with. We get c3 by my opponent, and I get the bishop on e7, breaking the pin, and allowing me to have some flexibility with my pieces again. So here I develop the knight to c6, and my opponent plays f4, and f4, it didn't strike me immediately as a move that is common or logical. Well, no, logical is not the right word here. I think f4 is logical because f4 anticipates that I'm trying to play e5. I'm pretty sure while I was playing this game, I said I'm gonna go e5 on the next move. F4 stops me from doing that. Now, if I go e5, they just take a pawn, maybe with a d pawn, and I'm just down a pawn cleanly here. There's no compensation for that pawn. Even worse, I gave up firmly all the tension in the center of the board. So, not an illogical move by any means, but it is weakening. Typically, you don't want to move the f pawn because your king becomes a lot more open. Also, this pawn on e3 becomes significantly weaker, and it just gives me some targets in the long run. So even if I can't immediately punish it, it's not a great move. Here, I decided to just let go of the tension that was present. I want to just develop my knight. I mean, undevelop my knight just so that I can develop my bishop and my queen. So we get a trade here. And also, by the way, this is not a good move. Typically, in the opening of a game of chess, you don't want to move the same piece multiple times. So you want to avoid doing that if possible, especially when you have other pieces that are not yet developed. So here, it would have been wiser for me to play bishop d7 or move my queen to b6. So develop some of my other pieces. I wonder if castling would have been good here. Apparently not. So I was right intuitively not to castle. Um, but yeah, like you don't want to undevelop a piece if you don't have to. But the thought behind it was that this bishop, in my opinion, was White's strongest piece. I'd like to get rid of it. So we have that happen, and now my opponent plays Queen g4. My opponent decides to go aggressive, hit the pawn on g7, and ask me how am I going to defend it. Apparently, the best way to defend it, according to the engine, is by playing g5, which would not have come to mind. That definitely doesn't come to mind immediately. I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I can put a rook on g8. Maybe I can push an f pawn so that my queen will directly defend this pawn because right now it's kind of x-raying it. The problem with f6, or even f5, f5 is actually playable. The problem with f6 is this bishop g6 move, which takes away my castling rights and just creates a long-term weakness for my king. So I decided to just castle. I thought here I don't really see a way of infiltrating my position, attacking my king. Yes, this light squared bishop is on this diagonal, but the queen can't really join in on the attack very easily. You might have a long-term plan of putting the bishop back on c2, maybe the queen onto d3, but I have more than enough time to deal with that if that's what my opponent goes for. Instead, they just developed the knight. And as soon as the queen went on g4, I immediately saw that this bishop on c8 was in the line of sight of the queen. And there's these two pieces, the knight on d7, the pawn on e6, that are in the way. So I had that in mind. I had this e5 and just moving the knight anywhere in mind. And here I noticed that I could play e5, and after any piece takes, really doesn't really matter which piece takes, but a pawn takes here, and I can play knight takes on e5. And I thought this was such a good way to get rid of this really strong bishop, because the queen is going to have to move, and I thought the queen can move somewhere that defends the bishop, and then I take, and then the queen takes. And I missed, because I'm an idiot, I missed that the queen can't step onto a square that defends the bishop, because every square that defends the bishop, so that would be queen e4, queen f5, sorry, queen e4, queen f5, queen g6, are the only squares the queen can step to that defend the bishop, and all those squares are controlled by my pieces, by my bishop, by my pawn, and here by my pawn and my knight. So here, my opponent resigned, because I'm just straight up winning a piece. You have to move the queen somewhere. You don't want to just lose a queen. And wherever you move the queen, I'm taking on d3, and this is a check as well. And now you might wonder, okay, well, what if the king steps up to attack the knight? First of all, I can probably just take on b2, but second of all, I could also just play, I would imagine I could play c4 here. And look at this position. I mean, it's rock solid for me. This knight is never going to be displaced, unless if my opponent decides to trade knights. And my opponent's just simply down a piece. I mean, rook e8's coming, and the attack is just enormous. So a very fast game, a very quick game. This analysis that I'm doing is something I'll do after every game I play on this channel. It helps me personally to go over the game, see if I missed anything. It also hopefully helps you because it's an opportunity for me to explain my thought process in the pivotal moves that were made, and also explain maybe what my opponent did wrong or right. I will lose more games than I would like, probably. But all that to say, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, if this is your first time tuning in, please consider subscribing. It's completely free. I also stream on Twitch, and I'll put the link to my Twitch in the description below, so check that out as well if you're a Twitch user. And I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. I'm going to try my best to put up these videos on a daily basis. We're real close to 2,000, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. But like I said, we're pushing beyond 2,000 in this series. I don't want to set any limits. The sky is the limit, as they say. Who knows? Maybe I'm the next Magnus Carlsen. Probably not. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it a ton. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.